Hello again, YouTubers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm your host, the Board Game Captain, and today I'm going to be reviewing and showing you how to play Torres. Now, Torres was designed by Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling and was published by IDW Games and Hook and Friends. Now, as you can see here on the box, this game was the Spiel des Jahres winner in the year 2000, which is the Game of the Year award that they give out at Essen Spiel, the big German board game convention every year in Essen. And now they usually give them out to very high quality family weight games. So the question is, this is about 18 years old now. Is it still holding up to today? Now this is a 2 to 4 player game that is listed as being a 60-minute game and for ages 10 and up. And this is a game about building castles and towers. So let's have a look at what comes in the box. So first I have to get the box open. There we go. And it is resisting me a little bit. Gonna have to stand up for this one. It is a bit snug. There it goes. Okay. There it goes. So now, first thing we have here in the box is a cheat sheet. Now this cheat sheet is two-sided and has lots of information on it. On one side it has all the different things you can do for action points on your turn, as well as a cheat sheet for all of the cards, whereas on the other side it has for the master cards, which are a alternate method of play. Now here we have the rule book. The rule book is full color with lots of diagrams. This is a very well done rule book. There are no ambiguities, and it is a total of 10 pages long, which includes half a dozen different variants for optional alternate ways to play at the end. And I love optional rules. This is a very well done rule book. Now the next thing we have here is the actual board of the game. Now the board of this game is, on this side, is printed with a kind of off-kilter checkerboard with different symbols for where you start with the castles. It has some nice filigree around there, and then it has an illustration of a knight on a horse, as well as an illustration of some construction workers on the other side, and then it has a point track around the outside. Now this board is more than just functional. It's also very attractive. The artistic design is very well done. Now, while I have never owned an older copy of this game, I have seen what the boards look like, and I have to say that in this new edition, this is an improvement. This is very nice. And then, in one of those little extra bits of generousness and total unnecessariness, they've done an illustration on the back with the big logo of Torres. And even though it's not necessary, I like it. So what can I say? Now one of the most used components in this game are these tower pieces. Now they're plastic and they look like this, and they easily fit into one another to build castles and towers. And these are great. These are very useful and very easy to use in how they stack for the main mechanic of the game, which is building castles and towers. In addition to that, we have knights and we have the king. Now those are plastic pieces in this bag here. The knights are little cone-headed, helmeted plastic pieces in the various different colors. They're functional. They are a little thin though. One complaint I have, so now they're kind of a hollow, you can see in the bottom there, they have a hole in the bottom. They're hollow little pieces, and they are a bit fiddly in that they're very easy to knock over. After playing this game about half a dozen times, it's one of those things where every game people are going to knock pieces over. I kind of wish that it had bigger bases so they weren't so easy to knock down. The king has a bit of a bigger base, so he's a little tougher to knock down. So I like him a little bit better, and especially since you cannot share spaces on the board, they really could have made larger bases for these. But you know, it's maybe a minor quibble. And then the final component we have with the game is the cards. Now you have some cheat sheet cards like this here, and you have also this one here You have several cards like this, which show, based on the number of players, how many tower pieces everybody gets in every season of every year. For instance, this is the one for 2 players, and this is the one for 4 players. And then we have the player cards, which have their player color on the back and a language-independent symbol to show what they can do on the front. These cards are very nice. They feel quite thick and sturdy, and they have that lovely linen finish that it feels really good. It reduces the glare on the cards. Everybody prefers the linen finish when given an option. So that's it. That's everything that comes in the box for Torres. So now I'm going to take you over to the game table. I'm going to take you through a few turns of this game. I'm going to show you how it plays. Then we're going to come back here. I'm going to talk about how this game feels. I'm going to review it and rate it, and we're going to get a second opinion from Lynn. Okay, so here we can see a 4-player game of Torres set up. Now, what you have to do is each player takes their deck of cards and shuffles them up, puts them in front of themselves. The decks are color-coded. Then you take your knights of your appropriate color and also place them in front of yourself. You take 1 knight and put it on the scoreboard, then point to that for me over there, at the 0 space. So each player has 1 knight just for keeping track of their score. In the future, when scoring, no space may be taken up by 2 knights. If you have 1 knight that's coming up and scoring and is to land on the space, they for free get an extra point, so they move on to the next space. The only space that multiple knights may share is the 0-point space. Then you take a number of stacks of tower pieces based on the year card. This is the year card for 4 players, and in the first season of the 4-player year card, every player gets 4 stacks of 2 tower pieces each. And this is because we will have 4 seasons in the first year, and during each season you pick a stack that you may use to build. Now, on each player's turn, you're going to be able to have 5 action points that you can use to do things around the board. For instance, if I had a knight here and I'm the purple player and it were my turn, things I could do with this could be two of my 5 action points could be used to spawn another knight adjacent to a knight I already have on the board. It has to be orthogonally adjacent, never diagonally. And that knight has to be not only adjacent, but on the same level or lower. So this is lower because they are actually down on the board, and that would be okay. For 1 point, I could move my knight. Now they can move down. They move orthogonally, 1 space for 1 point, and they can move down any number of levels they want. If they want to move up a level, they may move 1 level up for free when moving that 1 point space, so that is 1 point to go up there. They can also move through buildings for 1 point. You go in through a door on any side. You can come out any other door on the same level or lower, so this is also 1 point, moving into this building and out the other side. That is also 1 point. Now, in addition to all of that, you can spend points by expanding a castle. You can take a castle piece and place it adjacent to any castle. It doesn't have to be the one you have a knight on. Or you can also place castle pieces on top to build up the towers. However, a castle may never be taller than it has than the number of spaces it takes up on its base, so it can never be taller than its base. And in addition, when building, you may never start a brand new castle, and you may never build a castle to the point where it would join up with another castle like this, because the orthogonally adjacent would mean that those 2 castles have become 1. That is not legal. The final main thing you can do is you can spend a point to buy a card. You draw 3, take 1 into your hand, put the other 2 either on top of your deck or on the bottom, your choice. You can even split them up. Now, cards cannot be used in the same round in which you bought them, but they may be used in future rounds. And if you really run out of things you can do with your points, you can buy victory points, 1 point per action point that you spent. Now, the final piece of the setup is placing 1 knight each on the board, and then the final person to place a knight on, the person who's going to be going last, gets to place the king on the board. So we've decided that Lynn is going to go first, and then we're going to go clockwise from Lynn. So Lynn's green player places a knight there. Then her blue player places a knight there. Then the orange player is going to place a knight here. Now, the reason for this is they're trying to make it so that purple can't place somewhere that they'll be in a corner with no one else near them, and they can put the knight by them only, which they've succeeded in doing. So purple will play there and place the king there, so blue is still pretty close to the king. And the other 2 aren't too far off either. So now it is green's turn for first turn. So what will green do?
Make a building.
Okay, so that's 1 point.
I'm going to make a second building.
That's 2 points. Very good. 3 points. For 5 points. Oh, okay. So, wow. Well done. It was a really nice turn for green. So now it is blue's turn. What's blue going to do?
He's going to make a building.
So he increased the size of the building for the... Okay. That's 1, 2, 3.
And then... spawn another guy.
4, 5. Okay. So both good choices. So orange is... Now, blue has not used one of his building pieces there. So what happens with that is that was going to go on one of his other towers for a future round. In a future season, they will be allowed to actually build 3 towers. Now, your towers can never get more than 3 tall in front of you here. So if he doesn't use any of those in the next round, 2 of them will go 1 each on the other 2, and the other one will be lost. So it is orange's turn. Orange decides to also, let's see. Orange is going to also build twice in this direction. 1 here, 1 here. That's 2, 3, and also build a second guy, but going to build them here for 4, 5. And then purple is going to build 1, and then purple is going to go 2, 3, and going to go 4, 5, and also save one of their towers for a future use. So that is it for the first season of the first year. So now it is back to green's turn for the second season of the first year.
I'm going to buy an action card.
Okay. So green gets to look at the top 3 action cards from their deck. They'll pick one to put in their hand if you need to see the cheat sheet. Often you do need to reference the cheat sheet because some of the symbols can be a little tough to decipher. And then once she picks one, she can put them either on the top, on the bottom, or 1 each as she sees fit. It's her choice. So she's putting them on the bottom, both on the bottom.
So that was 1 point.
Mm-hmm. So that was your first point. 3 points. 4. And now that was a move through the castle. That was not through my piece because pieces block move. She went in the door and out the other door on the other side, which is very well done. So now it is going to be my turn. Oh, excuse me. Your turn is blue. Go ahead, blue.
Okay.
You cannot make one on a higher level than yourself.
Okay.
So you could walk up for one and make one back in the other direction or a different direction if you wanted, though.
Okay. Do 1,
Mm-hmm.
2,
3, 4.
No, that's too much.
To buy a card. Oh, you do have a third one to buy, though. Oh, I forgot about that. That's right.
So
Start another tower somewhere. Good choice. Okay, so blue is working on that building quite a bit. So now it is orange's turn. So orange decides that what they're going to do is they're going to spend 1, build there. 2, go through this building to the other side there. 3, jump on. See, now we're all going for the bonus points with the king there. So that's 3 points for orange. They've still got 2 points left. And they've decided to spend them both on another knight and get a 3rd knight on the board. So now it is purple's turn. And purple is going to spend... Oh, orange has to sorry, orange has to put their other tower piece on one of their future turns. Purple is going to spend 2 points here. Third point to jump up top. And then they're going to spend 2 more points to throw another purple knight out onto the board there, which is on a lower level than the adjacent knight, so it's fine. One, two. Three, four.
Oh, I'm going to use my card from
Okay.
last time. I get 7 actions this round.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was 4.
So you're at to 4. You still got 3 more. 5.
6,
Oh, you cheeky bugger, you. That's a really nice move. So now what Lynn has done here is, in the first round, everyone on the first level of the castle with the king is going to get bonus points. But she also now has a different knight that is going to score lots of more points for her than anyone else's knights there will score for her on that castle. Very well done. So now it is Blue's turn.
Blue's going to go 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, okay. Now it is, let's see, we'll have orange is going to go, Orange is going to go through this side of the castle. So that's 1, come out this door here. That's all 1. Then 2, and jump up there. Then they're going to go 3, 4. Whoops, actually can't do that. 3, 4, because that would make it bigger than the base. My mistake. So they're going to go 3, 4, 5. And that's it for orange. They're actually unable to get on top there. So then it is purple's turn. And purple is going to go, let's see. Purple is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. They're going to get a card. They're going to take a card. Let me just check the cheat sheets real quick for this. These, I'm pretty sure that is... They're going to take this one. So they can't use it this round, but they're done with their action points anyway. I'm going to put the other 2 on the bottom. Okay. So now it is time for the final season. And green has 3 possible castle pieces they can spend in their final season. Let's see what they do.
He's going to move through and drop down.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
That's fine. 4, 5. Okay, so the last one is going to be wasted and tossed back in the box because it wasn't ever used. So now it is Blue's turn. What will Blue be doing?
Blue's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, very clever of Blue. Very well done. Okay, Yellow is going to go... Whoops! Apparently jump off the building. Yellow is going to go 1. And then they're going to go 2, 3, 4. That doesn't really work, does it? Yeah, we'll do that. 2, 3, 4, 5, and jump on there. And then it is purple's turn, and purple is going to go 1 and jump on there. And then, let's see, they're going to go 2, 3 to place a knight there. 4, they're going to move in through this door and out through this door all the way on the first floor. 3, 4, 5. And that is it for purple. Purple didn't use either of their castle pieces, so those both get tossed back in the box. So now the entire first year, oh, and yellow didn't use theirs either. The entire first year is done. So now we score the first year, and then we're going to move on to the second year. So let's show you how that works. So now you go in whoever's in first place, but no one is in first place yet. You would go first to last place. So we go in turn order. So let's start with green. So green is going to score all of their pieces. Now the way you score a piece is you can score 1 piece per castle. We'll score the height of where that piece is times the base of the castle. So green, point at some of your pieces and let's figure out where they are. So that is a height of 2 times a base of 3. That is 6 points. Let's give 6 points. And then the next one there, that is a height of 1 times a base of 3. So that's another 3 points. And then now the highest one in this castle is this guy that green put up on the second level there. That is a height of 2 times a base of 6. So that is 12 points. That's huge. So green goes all the way up to 21 there. And then green gets a bonus of 5 points for having a, I'll move them for you. Oh, there, okay. For a bonus of 5 points for having a knight on level 1 in the same place that the king is. Now it is blue's turn. So let's see, how do we got with blue? So that is a 2 times 2, that's 4 points. Because he is the second level. 2 with 2 on the base of that castle. Now this one, he's on the third level, 3 on the base, so that's 9 points.
14?
Where were you at before?
I was at 4.
That'd be 13 then.
13.
4 plus 9 is 13. Okay, then over here, blue has a 1 times 6, so that's another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think that's it for blue, right? Except for their 5 bonus points, because they do get the 5 bonus points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little short of green. So now we'll do orange. So orange has a 1 times 3 here, so give him 3 points over there. Then has a 3 times 3 here, that's another 9, so that's 12. And then a 1 times 2, so that's another 2 points there, but they also get the 5 bonus points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, brings them up to 19. They're not doing quite as well as blue and green. And then purple has a 3 times 3, that is 9. A 1 times 3, that brings them up to 12. A 1 times 3 again, 1, 2, 3 brings them up to 15. A 1 times 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a bonus 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would land with their full point score on where green is. They get 1 free extra point. And that is how you score a year for Torres. Now, once this is done, we're going to set up the new year. Now, the new year on the second year has 3 seasons. So you have 3 stacks of 2 castle segments each, and then we do it all again. We each take turns taking our 5 action points and using them as we see fit. We do that for a third year, again with only 3 seasons each in the third year. And then whoever has the highest point total wins the game of Torres. So now we're going to go back to the table and we're going to talk about how this game feels. We're going to rate it and review it, and I'm going to get a second opinion from Lynn. Okay, so that was how you play a game of Torres. Now, I want to run through a few things about this game, give you some of my thoughts about how this game feels. So the first thing I want to talk about is a positive, just the feeling of this game. This game is very tactical, very strategic. It's all based around the mathematics. This is a game that really has you constantly looking at the table and working through multiplication problems to figure out where am I going to get the most points in the least amount of moves. How can I maximize my score? How can I come back and take first place? And you, because of how you can have a big point swing by both getting the bonus points for being on the right level of the king's castle, as well as having yourself on the largest scoring castles possible, you never feel out of this. Even if you're fairly far behind, you can have a really good turn where you just shoot ahead if you're tricky enough. So in regard to that, the basic feel of the game is very good, but there are a few negatives I want to talk about. There are a few problems I have with this game. Now, the first one I talked a little bit about in the introduction, which is that the knights, the gaming pieces, their bases are a little small, and it makes them feel a little clumsy. They tend to knock over very easily. They totally could have made these pieces bigger or given them bigger, wider bases. It is a minor gripe I have, but it is a gripe, and I mean it is valid. Another problem I have with this game, and this is more of a minor one, is even more minor than those knights, is that it's starting to feel its age, especially in the 5 action points area. Early on when playing this game, people often will lose track. Oh, wait, how many action points did I spend? Because they'll use the first couple real quick. They'll be like, oh, I'll build a piece of castle here, and I'll move there, and then, oh, wait a minute, I gotta do something tricksy here. Let me think about this for a minute. Okay, if I do that, no, wait, but if I do that, no, wait, if I do that. Okay, I got it, I'll move here. Oh, wait, how many action points have I used? Was anyone paying attention? And that happens actually a lot. Now, with a smaller number of action points, this would be more in line with more modern games, which usually have you between 1 and 3 actions on a turn. Most games leaning towards 1 action on a turn. Now, they could do an update to the rules where they could bring it down in line with that. There are ways that you could make this a 1 action per turn game. Now, granted, it would still wind up being probably the same number of actions you would take. You would just only take 1 action, and then the next player would go in, the next player, and the next player. And it might be a little tricksy with figuring out making a new knight, which costs you 2 actions to do. But I'm sure that it is something that could be updated if they wanted to in the future. That being said, it's not that bad once you figure out you really have to pay attention to how many actions you take. But it is a minor fiddly thing I do have with the rules. Another issue I have with the rules, and this is something that comes up a lot now, is the cheat sheets. There is one complete cheat sheet here, and there's one little card, which is just a cheat sheet of the action points. And it's not enough. There needs to be more of these complete cheat sheets, and they could be a little sturdier than this very thin, very, very thin. It's just basically like rulebook paper. Because the language independence of the cards can sometimes be, something that is being looked up constantly. When you draw a card, you don't just draw a card, you draw 3 cards, and then you pick which one you like the best. And then that's the one you're going to keep. You put the other ones either on the top or the bottom of the deck. Now, some of them are very easy to figure out, like the 6x for getting 6 actions in a turn and the 7x for getting 7 actions in a turn. But some of these symbols, some of them are a little harder to figure out what they mean until you've played them a few times. And even then, once in a while, you're probably going to have to look into this cheat sheet periodically just to remember what each of them do, because there are some you're going to forget. I still forget on some of these. So I think there needs to be more cheat sheets, and I think they need to be a little bit more durable. So this is another minor complaint I have about the game. Now, the game itself is very fun, and something I want to now bring back to a positive on is the optional rules. So now this game has a little bit of randomness with the deck of cards and what cards you draw, though you do get to draw 3 and pick which one you want and then place the other 2s where you want them. You can even take that bit of randomness out. There is an optional rule in here, which is one of the most interesting ones, I think. Once you're versed in what all the cards do and you're more experienced with the game, you can play that instead of taking an action to draw cards, you literally just have all of the cards out in front of you face up, and each one can be used once whenever you want. Now, when you do that, that turns this game not just into an abstract strategy game, but a complete information abstract strategy game that is fully playable at 4 players, which is a rarity. I mean, you don't see very many complete information abstract strategy games playable at 4 players that do it well. And that brings me to another area, which is to talk about the player count and the time and the ages. So 10 and up is probably a pretty good estimate. The 60 minutes isn't bad. It can be a little longer or a little shorter. The 2 to 4 players, this game plays just fine at every player count, but this is a game that I feel the more the merrier. Now, 2 players a little bit too back and forth. It plays okay, but it's a little limited because you only have the 2 players' knights on the board. It's a little limited into how much getting in each other's way there is. Whereas at 4 players, there's lots of trying to outmaneuver each other and getting tricksy with the moves of moving in a doorway and out somewhere else. And this really feels best at 4 players. Now, I do enjoy this game, and I will play this game anytime someone asks. And this is a game I will ask to play plenty of times in the future. And even though there are some bits of it, like having the 5 action points on your turn to spend, which can be a little fiddly, that I feel are starting to show their age a little bit, I still feel like this is a game that I thoroughly enjoy. It still holds up to today, even though it's 18 years old. It's old enough to drive, and in 3 more years, it'll be old enough to drink. But it still holds up to today as a solid game and a good part of anyone's collection. If you enjoy games about building things, building towers, building castles, this is a game I would recommend to you. This is a game that I will gladly give 7 stars out of 10 because I enjoyed this game. I will play it anytime someone asks, and I am definitely going to ask to play this game many times in the future. In addition, I would like to recommend this game to anyone out there whose children are currently learning multiplication, so I guess that's around 3rd grade level, 2nd or 3rd grade level, because this is a great game to help your kids with multiplication, where they'll be doing math problems without even realizing they're doing it. If you can get your kids into this game, they will get better at multiplication without even knowing that that's why you have them playing the game. So for all those reasons, I would recommend the game to you. But let's get a second opinion. Lynn, how many stars out of 10 would you give to Torres?
3.
Wow. Now, I need to explain this. Lynn has made it very, very clear that she can't stand any game that forces her to do math. No one ever played board games with her that forced her to do math when she was a kid, and she is terrible at math. And she feels she has a huge handicap in any games that have a lot of math in them and does not enjoy them. So now that is not the fault of the game. That is the fault of somebody else entirely. Not even really Lynn, but somebody in Lynn's past who didn't ever help her with mathematics. But because of that, if you also are someone who really, really hates math and really hates it when math is a big part of your games and you don't find that fun at all, you might want to avoid Torres because you might agree with Lynn. But that being said, I really like this game and I give it 7 out of 10 stars, and I would recommend it to you for any of the reasons I've already stated. So have you played Torres? Do you agree more with me? Do you enjoy this game? Or do you agree more with Lynn? And do you really dislike games with a lot of math in them? Feel free to put it in the comments down below. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns either on the game of Torres or on this video, put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see us do more review and tutorial videos like it, be sure to give it a like. Share this video on any social media that you may have, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Kaptain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.